The news day continues here on One News Now. I'm Danny Laurel. The government has added 261 billion pesos in its national budget for unprogrammed appropriations. The Budget Department explained this move was done to reach the record high 5.53 trillion peso spending for this year. Now, around 200 billion pesos of this went to support foreign assisted projects of the Departments of Agrarian Reform, Agriculture, Finance, Health, as well as Labor, Public Works, Trade, Transportation, and Social Welfare. The Philippine Competition Commission also benefited from this. Unprogrammed appropriations provide additional agency obligations for priority programs when revenue collection exceeds the target and when the additional grants or foreign funds are generated. House Speaker Martin Romualdez says Congress will increase the allocation for defense in the 2024 national budget. Romualdez noted that the allocation for the defense sector next year is 282 billion pesos. That's 21% higher than last year's 203 billion. He added the fund will support land, air, and naval forces' defense programs as well as the UN peacekeeping mission, among others. The Speaker's remarks coincide with the country's most recent encounter with China in the West Philippine Sea that involves Beijing firing a water cannon at a Philippine supply vessel.
This allocation demonstrates our dedication to maintaining a strong and credible defense posture, one that sends a clear message that we will not compromise when it comes to safeguarding our national interests.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. still watching One News Now, I'm Danny Laurel. Senators have condemned the latest harassment of Chinese ships on the Philippine vessels last Friday. In a statement, Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri reminded the Chinese Coast Guard that their government's claims to the West Philippine Sea has been disproved by the 2016 Hague ruling. He also argued that China cannot justify their attack as a form of self-defense when their ships are larger and more advanced than our vessels. Meanwhile, Senator J.V. Ejercito pushed the government to adopt a resolution that recommends courses of action regarding China's harassment. This includes filing a resolution before the United Nations seeking for cessation of all activities that violate the country's established rights in the West Philippine Sea. Senator Risa Ontiveros expressed hope that the incident would further convince the Congress to approve a higher budget for the intelligence funds for agencies with roles in national security. One expert expects the Philippine economy to expand further in the last quarter of 2023. RCBC's chief economist Michael Ricafort noted that economic activities in the country have picked up. In fact, Ricafort added the country's third quarter gross domestic product would have been higher if it weren't for high inflation. The GDP last quarter grew by 5.9%. That's faster than the 4.3% growth in the second quarter.
Ngayon naman, nag-pick up na po pag third quarter. Kasi piniprepare po yung fourth quarter, yung holiday season. Yan po kasi yung pinakamalaking spending. Had it not been for the increase in rice prices, ang naambag niya kasi essentially nasa 1.2 percentage points. Ang inflation natin na 4.9%, had it not been for the increase in rice prices, dapat nasa 3.7% lang. Di ba nakaambag din yung pagtaas ng presyo ng langis?
With this, Ricafort sees the Philippine economy expanding by at least 6.5% in the last quarter of the year.
Halos wala pong malaking bagyo mula noong Oktubre. Kaya biglang yung inflation bumaba din. Bumaba na rin po yung world price ng rice. Hopefully, masustain yan. Ito, Nobyembre, Disyembre.
Let's now take a quick look at other stories we are watching. The Philippine Coast Guard will continue its regular supply missions to the BRP Sierra Madre. This as Chinese vessels continue to increase its presence in Ayungin Shoal. The recent resupply mission on Friday was successful. That's despite the Chinese Coast Guard vessels firing water cannons at our supply ships. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, has identified some areas that are positive for red tide. These places are the towns of Rojas, Panay, and Pilar in Capiz, as well as the provinces of Bohol, Iloilo, Zamboanga del Sur, Surigao del Sur, and Surigao del Norte. This means that all types of shellfish in the mentioned areas are not safe for human consumption. And convicted businesswoman Janet Napoles and 4 former officials of the Agriculture Department were cleared in an alleged fertilizer scam. The Sandiganbayan 4th Division dismissed the graft and malversation charges against them because the ombudsman failed to justify the delay of their investigation that took 6 years. Napoles is currently behind bars for plunder. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 12 noon as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Danny Laurel. We are One News.